Hello, welcome to the T Sports Network, the home of tabletop sports.
Ooh.
If competitive ice dancing can be a sport,
then this can potentially be a sport.
maybe at least can be a
'Cause
sport.
honestly, that sounds a lot better.
Hello, my name's Rob, and I'm joined by Adam. As you can see here, we are nameplates are the wrong way around. Let's go. We're here at the TSN Arena in Nottingham live for a exciting day of Age of Sigmar coverage. Let's go. We had 3 exciting rounds yesterday. We only covered 2 of them, and we have our 4th round today. We've got 16 players playing, and that means that the game we're going to look at in Table 1 is the only 2 people on 4-0 going through for the win, which is pretty exciting. And we will get straight into that because the game is already underway. We have got some other games we're going to cover as well, which is really fun. And you can follow along on BCP. I'll put the link in the chat in a moment. If you are watching the show, please do like and subscribe. Hope you're having a lovely day. Pretty good. Oh, yes. No, sorry. They're already 3-0. Sorry, I apologise. The 2 players are 3-0.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. That makes way more sense.
Would be quite impressive to be 4-0 at this point.
It would be very good. Hello, Guy. Hello. We're going to jump straight in to Table 1. As you can see, we've got Mr. Matt Gouldsborough against his good lifelong friend, Josh. Josh is running Nighthorn, and Matt is running Soulblight Gravelords. Would you have thought top table, Adam, would be death, double death?
Honestly, no.
No.
Never in a million years would I think Soulblight would be at the top table. But turns out, Soulblight are cooked.
Soulblight are very, very good, very strong. Yeah, not only in the current meta, Matt's list is pretty prodigious. It's going for the heavy armor save variant of Soulblight Gravelords. There's definitely other Soulblight Gravelords lists that are going to be something that we'll see play eventually. Skeletons, even though being screens in this army, going to be something we see on the tabletops
Those
a lot.
skeletons, terrifying.
Very, very good. They're actually super good into attrition-based armies, like armies that are going to do a lot of chip damage. And as we know, Seraphon are going to pop out with a bunch of chip damage sometime soon. So I think maybe like a nice little bit of anti that there. We're going to go through the list now so you can see what is happening. So this is our match, probably for the tournament. Ultimately, although either of these two players could win this match, and then in the 5th round they could be in a position where they could drop a game, and then it goes to the best 4-1. So it's not only about beating your opponent; it's by beating your opponent by the most points.
By smashing your opponent.
Absolutely
destroying their hopes and dreams.
Exactly. All right, we're going to go through the list, but as is being pointed out by Aurex in the chat, and thank you absolutely everyone for being here, we're playing the Prize of Galay.
Oh, my favourite mission.
Galay, yes. We did Jaws last night, and then Prize in the morning.
It was just twists and turns next.
Actually, 5 rounds of that. So there are 5 objectives on the board, as you can see. The key part about this is none of them are turned on.
Oh,
great jokes to be made there, but it's T-Sports Network, so I won't make them. However, none of them are turned on, and whoever goes second, beginning from the first battle round, gets to activate the objective. In the first battle round, you can only activate those 3 objectives. You can only activate those 3 objectives, as you can see, and then from that turn on, you can activate all of the others. Whoever goes second in each turn activates an objective. The traditional tactic is you give the turn away, and we've already heard that Matt G has done that.
Ooh.
You give the turn away every time, then you activate the center objective for yourself. That means your opponent has to move on to that objective, which means you then countercharge them, and then that is pretty much game. If you've got an army that's good enough, you maybe will take the first turn, but then your opponent will activate one of these objectives, and then you have to move your whole army across, which is a bit of a struggle. So that's pretty much the game plan. Give your opponent a second turn, watch them activate the objective, and then just counter-strike. That's pretty much what I think it is. Easy peasy. So Matt, with his army at the top, has got less drops, so that means he's deployed his army before Josh did, and then he then gets to choose who goes first. He's given the turn away to Josh. Josh is going to get to go first, and he gets to choose which objective he's going to activate of the 3. All of the terrain has got keywords. You have 2 pieces of impassable here. They'll also block line of sight. These 2 pieces here will be impassable, I'm almost certain, and they should also block line of sight. Not that there's a lot of shooting in these armies, but some spells. They're around. Okay. Some what was I saying? Keywords?
I don't know.
Yeah, the objectives do overlap in this battle plan.
They do, yeah, which is really nice.
Well, okay, the objectives themselves don't overlap. The zone of control for the objectives overlap, because objectives are only ever a point on the board. That's always something very easy to remember, forget. Actually, Prize of Galay is pretty interesting because while you might want to dump your whole army on an objective, there's a new realm spell in this General's Handbook.
Okay.
Ooh, where was that? Not here. There's maybe somewhere. No. Anyway, so there's somewhere. There's
a realm spell.
There's a realm spell. This.
Oh, hello.
Let's go. There's a realm spell called the Grinding Teeth of Galette or Galay. Cast on 6. It's got a range of 12 inches, so you need to obviously focus on one of those objectives, right? And then you roll a dice for each unit within 6 inches, friend or foe. And on a 4+, that unit suffers D6 mortal wounds. This is especially scary in a future where there's a frog that can extend the range of that to 18 inches.
Wait, do to that?
Yeah, because it's extend the range of spells.
Oh my.
But you can also do it with Arcan and OCR Bone Reapers.
I'm honestly learning so much.
Yeah, you can do it with OCR Bone Reapers as well, which is actually pretty legit. I think with Arcan, it actually sees some play. Because he's got some great spells in the book, and then extending spell ranges is bonkers.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you can do Arcan Cat across 100%. Anyway, that means that you can, from even at the backboard here, grab that objective and explode everything on that 6-inch circle. So but you still have to focus on that little bit. You can actually block that spell by just putting a model on the objective, as in right on the center, and then you consider to not be able to see that, and therefore you can't do the realm spell at that point.
At that.
That's the rules. Just how it works.
That is not the rules.
Yeah, 100%. That's the rules. I promise you.
The rules.
Yeah, because you need to see it, and a miniature blocks line of sight. Okay. So anyway, that's good. Arcan is my OBR list. Arcan's really good. Yes, you can't cast it with Arcane Tome though, which is sad. I agree. So that's pretty much the game plan. 5 objectives. Now we need to talk about the armies. Adam, boy, oh boy.
Oh.
How do you feel about him?
Well, I thought I knew Josh's list yesterday.
No.
Because, Nighthorn, Nagash, 20 Blade Guys, and 2 units of 10 Blade Guys, and some characters. Like, we've seen it before. And then I found out it was new Nagash, and I was like, oh, don't know what he does. But turns out he's pretty good.
He is very good.
It's having that big 5-up ward aura, which is quite nice. Bringing guys back to those Blade Guys units. If a Blade Guys unit dies, bring one of those units back half strength. Like, Nagash just brings quite a lot to that army now. But he's obviously not doing the Arcane Bolt spam anymore.
Nope.
So he's not got quite as many mortal wounds. But, like, we still see him do quite a lot of damage in that.
I think the major element for Nagash is he has a 5-up ward now.
Yeah.
That's
the big thing, isn't it? Like, when you're sitting on a 3+ save with a 5-up ward, like an 18 wounds, it makes you a lot more survivable. But, like, I think Josh's army is quite interesting because it brings, like, that survivability. But then you're talking about survivability, you need to talk about Matt G's army.
Oh.
Because, oh my god.
Yeah. So a 5-up ward aura outside of Nagash, just down here against these Blade Guys, and it does look like, and while we have a unit of maybe 10 or 20, it looks like there are 2 units of 10 not on the board for Josh. He'll have put them inside the gravesite, so you can see some gravesite tokens here.
Now they just go in the sky, these ones, don't they? So the Nighthawk ones just go up in the air and can come down anywhere.
Correct.
Whereas it's Matt's that
sorry, narratively they're in the grave.
No, they're in the air.
They're narratively in the grave. I think.
The air.
They're ghosts in the sky.
They come down from lightning.
Wait. Are they in the sea?
Hang on. Do they ride an Aether Sea?
I'm not. Anyway, they're somewhere, not on the board, importantly, which is our Crystal Caverns. This is actually technically an underground board, what it's meant to be. The idea is that, when we designed it, the idea was that, like, you're inside of a cavern. It's quite gloomy.
It'd be a bit awkward if you could fly.
Well, I mean...
Is it a tall cavern?
It's a tall cavern, yeah, like a large,
is it like that
cavern.
One in the Total Wars?
The MacBook Pro game Total Wars. Right, anyway, so there's a big cavern, and then there are 2 units of ghosts somewhere on the board. Right, so Josh is going first, and he has chosen this. Has he chosen this one's mine?
Yeah, this one's mine. So his general is the Cairnwraith. So Cairnwraith is like the little tiny character, but he drops down, charges in.
Over on the far left-hand side.
Yeah. Is he little, I think 32 mil base character?
Correct.
Drops in, and then he gets 1 attack for every model within 3 inches.
Yep.
And he's just walked into some skeletons and nuked them.
Amazing. That's pretty good because we actually saw those skeletons survive quite a lot.
We did, yeah.
We saw them survive quite a lot. We were going to talk about the survivability of those in a minute. Just also talk about the fact Josh has dropped 10 of his Blade Guys on the far right-hand side as well to grab this objective because this is the one he seems to have activated. This kind of makes a lot of sense because it seems like what he's going to want to do, what he's going to do, he's going to bring over these major threats that Matt's got. And Matt has got some major threats. Really, Josh has got 2 threats. He's got Nagash and he's got 20 Blade Guys Revenants.
He does, and a Cairnwraith.
And a Cairnwraith, apparently. But for Matt, he's got an amount of threats. He has this Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon, which we'll get to in a minute, massive melee threat. He has this unit of 10 Blood Knights, which are also a major threat. But then he's got a couple of little cute threats, specifically Luca Vi. Then he has a unit of 10 Skeleton Warriors, another 10, and then, well, he did have another 10.
He didn't now.
But those Cairnwraith, that Cairnwraith has chopped him up, put him in put them in the ground. So Matt's army super survivable because what Matt is able to do is Matt can cast a spell from Neferata, who's also kind of a threat, but in this list especially, she's a support piece. It's not that she does no damage in combat, but that's not her role.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone watched my roles video, but that's whenever I look at a game, you think about what their role is, and the unit of Blood Knights, they're actually a tanking unit. That's their major role. Although they are more of a they're a very anvil bruiser style melee unit really, because they do some damage.
Yep.
Yeah. Very good, but they also survive is their key piece. Whereas the Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon is an absolute damage dealer. But Neferata is a support piece, and that's mainly because she has a spell cast on it's not cast on a 4. There's +2 to cast in this army, 1 from the Corpse Cart, +1 from her War Scroll. That gets +2. That +2 to cast goes on this unit.
Another +1, doesn't
it? Whichever the situation is, it's +2.
If you're out of combat, you get +1 for.
Yes, because you're in Legion of Blood. That's where you get a +1.
Yeah. I just really want to say your vocabulary, mate, really improved. really enjoying it. I'm like, wow, these are a lot of words.
Which word did you?
I really liked bruiser. I was there for ooh.
Trying to get better at what I do.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, it's like a unit role, because it's really hard to establish what units do, right?
I mean.
Because Neferata does do damage, but that's not why she's there.
No, it's not why she's there.
She's a support piece.
And I was like, wow.
Hey. Thanks. I did it with that video. Did you watch the Archetypes video?
No, I've never watched any of your videos.
Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to explain to people at home who probably don't care, right? But I'll tell them anyway. Thanks, Mark, for being a great table boss. The yes, +1 from the cart, +1 from Legion, +2 overall. Thank you, Hazel, in the chat. But either way, her spell is a 6 to cast, and therefore, with those bonuses to cast in the army, it becomes a 4 to cast. Casting a spell on a 4, so that these Blood Knights have got an unrendable save, or more importantly, you can't apply negative modifiers, but you can apply positive modifiers. So they're starting a 3-up save.
They do.
2-up save, 2-up unrendable save, 30 wounds. 5-up ward save.
That's honestly really good. I mean, that spell's going to be quite difficult to get off with Nagash on the board, because Nagash has got +3 to unbind.
Yes.
So, even though she's got the +2, Nagash's got +3 to unbind, so he's essentially got a net positive +1 unbind.
Correct.
So they're still going to be fairly difficult to get off. But if he does get it, then Neferata is going to be, or not Neferata, those Blood Knights are going to be real tanky. But saying that, those Blade guys do have more wounds in the charge.
They do. Because of the subfaction that they're in, which is Scarlet Doom, what you could do is when you charge in, you roll a dice for each model in your unit, and on a 5+, they do mortal wound 20 dice. 20 dice, so you should do 6 mortal wounds on the charge, which is not nothing, absolutely. And then obviously Nagash has got the opportunity to hand the dust off a model, but Josh hasn't brought Portal, so he's going to have to get within 3 inches. And the problem is this Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon. He's in Legion of Blood. He's got a heroic action. That heroic action means he ignores ward saves in melee. He's a vampire in Legion of Blood, so he gets +1 attack on all of his profiles. He's also got something about minions, the movie. Doomed Minions, which is a command trait. That command trait allows you to pick D3 enemy units, more than likely Nagash to 20 Blade Guys and anything else. We don't know how many he rolled on the D3, but that means any other units wholly within 12 inches of the general are always hit on 2s against one of the doomed units.
That's really good.
But that also includes the general,
the
general's mount, 'cause it's not a command trait. Command trait tree is quite awkward, where the command trait normally doesn't affect your mount.
Okay.
Unless
it's not technically affecting the mount, is it? Weirdly.
No, it's affecting the enemy unit, and then your mount is benefiting from it. But anyway, that's a long convo. For another day, but anything that rounds it, so that means he's going to hit on 2s, which makes the zombie dragon way more effective because it normally hits on 4s.
Yeah.
So even though that attack, best you could hit is 3s. Now there's some sort of gimmick where it goes down to 2s, which is absolutely nuts. So no ward saves, everything that hits on 2s.
Yeah.
Very effective melee.
The no ward save thing's I think the biggest one, isn't it? Because all that Nagash that's giving out that 5-up ward save is almost not useless, but makes it a lot worse.
Interestingly, so Matt has rolled a 3 on the D3, and he has chosen everything other than Nagash to be a Doom minion.
Oh, maybe he's just not scared of Nagash. Don't care about you.
No, I don't think he is bothered. Oh, yes, you can't You can't choose a monster.
Ah,
You can't choose a monster for Doom minions. Yeah, so you only Doom their minions.
not minions.
not minions. Yeah, so yeah, you can only do the minions, no Gru. So that means all of these, the Blade Geist, so they've been targeted, and so +1.
What I'm
so
hearing is you only need to play monsters when you play this army.
Against it. Yeah, against it. Yeah, some Stonehorns would have a great time.
6 Cygor.
That would be a decent thing. The problem is probably also is the Templar Knights that will also rampage through armies. Right, okay, can't do my Stonehorn. That's correct. It's not a minion. Stonehorn would never be a minion.
No, it's definitely a minion.
No minions for us. So yeah, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting match. I would say if we're looking at tempo, there's a couple of things going here. Josh is a fantastic human, but he definitely doesn't have like quite the high end, top level experience that Matt does. Josh gets a lot of reps in.
He does.
He's just come back to. I mean, not quite now, but he was away overseas for a couple of years, and since he's been back here in the UK, he has been playing a lot of events. But and they're also clubmates, both and teammates. Both of these two players are in the Bad Moon Loons, so very, very good players. But definitely Matt has got the experience and probably has got the army advantage as well.
Yeah, probably.
So this is an uphill battle for Josh. Doesn't mean he's going to lose. Does mean, though,
he just needs to get all the hand of dusts.
He needs to hand of dust everything. He needs to hand of dust the Velars, slap Neferata down, and really, like, this is Nagash at the end of the day. Narratively, if we're talking about this is the Lord of Death versus a couple of his minions. Yeah, he should be laying the law down.
How many points is a Vampire Lord?
475?
So you can have 2 of those for a Nagash.
2 of those for a Nagash,
Wild.
Yeah, wild. Narratively, it doesn't make tons of sense because the Lord of Death.
2 Croaks and a Slan.
You can't have a lot of Croaks. You have 2 Croaks, you can't have a Slan as well. Right, okay.
You have 2 Croaks and a Troglodon.
Okay. Again, it's just for the people who listen who are very confused. You obviously can't have 2 Croaks.
I'm very confused.
Yeah. Oh, so what I was going to say was, I think Josh has done an interesting thing where what he's done is he had the choice, obviously, to go in the middle.
Yeah.
And chose that objective instead. This is one of the strategies you can obviously do on this battle plan. You can either choose the middle one and make your opponent move forward, and then you can try to countercharge. I feel like that would have been the right call for Josh. He's not quite got as much movement. There's that 5-up ward save, which obviously the Velars can turn off. But I would have maybe just dragged some units in here, screened with a 10, put Nagash there, let him hit me. Hope I just get back in because he's in a losing position here. Instead, what Josh has gone for is one of the other solid tactics, I think. Put a unit on the flank and make it so your opponent, if they want to try and clear that, they have to drag it across. This does mean you can almost rotate the board a little bit and fight that way. But the priority roll into 2 normally determines who normally wins these games. Because what happens is you win the priority into 2, you give the turn away, and then you make your home objective active.
Yeah.
And then you're always fighting on your home. And it makes sense to fight on your home objective and the center objective, which is why people choose
players.
Go for it.
You lose, or you get the priority into 2.
Yep.
You give it away, and you activate their home objective.
Their home objective, yeah. Yeah, just run at them in the turn after.
And what? Yeah. And then watch them panic. They think you've got a plan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, and we can see, look at this. We've got some skeletons moving on to that center, creating a screen.
I just really like how that zombie dragon's come down to deal with like 10 Blade Geists.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get them.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense from Matt. That's why. While I understand what Josh was trying to do, I don't think is what I would have done. What he's doing is saying, I want your threats to be over here, then I can screen the board. But unfortunately, this Velars or the Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon is so fast that after it's engaged here, he's going to be able to pop over, engage on this side of the board, and so he's going to be a good spot. So why not just let that happen anyway?
Yeah.
Choose the middle. Do the same process. I think that maybe the problem for Josh is he didn't want to fight everything all at once on this center point.
Well, it was Matt that chose the objective, wasn't it?
Oh yes, Matt did choose the objective. That's a good point. Yeah, I would have not taken it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or I'd have put the 10 here and then just screened on this side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he probably can protect his Nagash at the back flank, but I wouldn't be screening with the 20 as well, because that's my hammer unit. I'd be screening with 10.
I think when you've got, because of how tanky that 20 is, it makes sense to screen with it. And then because like you can bring 10 back from the gash, it makes more sense than 10. Because a unit of 10 will just die to the first unit, and then the second unit piles into the gash.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
that's
think
a
you
good
have
point.
to have the 20.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You really just don't get a lot, do you?
No,
You
no.
just
I
don't
mean,
get a lot.
Nagash at like 1,000 points.
Yeah, he's probably wildly overcosted. Based on some of the other stuff, like
Oh, yeah.
Marathi and Teklas, you could probably knock off 200 points off Nagash. That would that would do in this Nighthaunt army would add one more unit of Blade Geist.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's killer, my personal opinion. But so the Blood Knights in the center here are on a 2+ ethereal save.
Jesus.
Ethereal save. So in order to get any damage through, you have to give them 6 wound dice. You're gonna have to give them 6 wound dice. So,
But it's okay because Nighthaunt have an ability where if they charge, they can reduce your save, which works against that, right?
does not, unfortunately.
Oh.
They ignore all negative modifiers to their save. They could though stack a bunch of like fight last minuses to hit. They can genuinely debuff them.
Yeah,
But again, their role is what they're doing here. They're an anvil. Their job is to hold and be and they can fight absolutely. But it's not that expensive a unit that's absolutely going to take a kick in all day long. I think in the first game Matt played at this tournament, he played against Fire Slayers. He yeeted all 10 into a Fire Slayer army, and the Fire Slayer army only ever killed 2. And that was a whole Fire Slayer army. Not some little bits, the whole army.
Yeah.
I think Matt had used a Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon to kill his 1 unit of Hearthguard Berserkers.
Literally in one phase.
In one phase.
Combat phase.
In one phase.
I can't get over how hard that normally is.
Yes, it's because the damage is normally mitigated by the fact that the zombie dragon, hits on 4s, but dropping it so it hits on 2s.
I just love how it's like the Blood Knights isn't like ethereal.
Yeah.
It's the old good ethereal.
Yes, it's the good ethereal. Oh no, actually, that ethereal has been written into a lot of the new books. So like the ignoring negatives modifiers, but ignoring negative modifiers, but keeping positive modifiers has stayed inside. It's kind of been Neferata's stick though. That has been like you talk about curse years from Arcan, you talk about Hand of Dust from Nagash.
Yeah.
Even the Slan with his unique command ability to make stuff fly. This is Neferata's thing in Age of Sigmar.
Our spell was like give a unit -1 to.
-1 to hit in a big aura.
Yeah.
Was
the same as ethereal.
This is what she did in the last book. What I'm trying to say, carried over.
Are they trying to be like, yeah, fine?
No, I think what it is you end up with like a bunch I honestly think you end up with a lot of like really interesting, unique, dynamic pieces, and that orientates itself into problem units. But I do think that there are units that will just absolutely go in and just delete that unit in a turn. That unit of 10 here.
I was really enjoying seeing Matt here bring back. So the Cairnwraith killed the 10.
Yep.
It looks like he's just brought back that unit of 10.
He has.
So like half has come back. So it's a unit of 5. They've literally just deployed right in front of Josh's army there.
They have. So yeah, that unit has come back. And we haven't even talked about this in Soulblight Gravelords.
Okay.
So this is actually a pretty exciting thing. So returning these units in Soulblight Gravelords now, there's no stipulation on how far they have to be away. Oh no, sorry, they have to be outside of 3, not outside of 9.
What?
So what happened is, unit of 10 skeletons got murdered by the Cairnwraith in the top left-hand corner. Matt rolled the dice at the end of the movement phase, and you get to add +1 if it's your turn. So normally it's a 4, so it's a 3+ in your turn. And then he was able to return a unit. Return the unit wholly inside of a gravesite. So you've got a gravesite here. But there's no stipulation it has to be outside of 9 of the enemy. So what Matt's done is he's put it here, creating a screen out of the army as well. So that's definitely also one of the other things that you can see from Soulblight Gravelords armies, which is quite unique, is the ability to recycle and produce screens, as opposed to, outside of...
This Soulblight book is honestly just blowing my mind. Like yesterday, I was like, I don't know what this does. This is gonna be so much fun. And then every time, like they do something, I'm like, wow.
Wait till you read the OCR book. It's bonkers. Okay, there are some other games happening, so I'm just gonna thanks Mark for keeping us updated. I know we're focusing on this game because this is kind of the game for the final. But there are some other fun games. We have Derek Erickson on table 2 with his Zeech Force. Dropped a game yesterday against Matt G. He's got his unit of 20 pinks in the middle. He's up against Kieran, who just narrowly lost his game against Matt. Matt is rocking an incarnate beast of chaos. So we have seen both these armies play on the tabletop over the past few over the past few rounds. We got some more guys spawn here and here, but obviously we got the 9 Bulgor off board, or as we've called it, the beef addiction, because 9 Bulgor deep stroking outside of 7 +2 to charge, right? Pretty terrifying. So they're looking to play against Kieran. Kieran has got that big deep strike, so he's got one massive hammer unit basically,
Yeah.
9 Bulgor, and then he's got the Incarnate to be what an Incarnate does, kind of shore up the weaknesses in army. I don't know if this is a mistake. I can see why Kieran wants to use it. It's a massive opportunity to debuff in conjunction with the Spawn, who reduce how many attacks you've got. But I feel like if you lean into Beast of Chaos, take a bunch of Raiders, you really add more opportunity to deep strike those Bulgor.
Raiders.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah,
shoot in, I feel like you've got some more opportunity. Obviously, Kieran doesn't agree. For 480 points, he thinks the Incarnate's more valuable.
Or he just doesn't want to paint 100 Ungor.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, like I mean, this is a bit of maybe an uphill struggle for Kieran, because like Matt's got Derek's got a unit of 20 pinks, which is 100 wounds. And his Bulgors do a lot of damage, but they're a combat unit, and there's a Cockatrice here. So if those Bulgor go in here, that Cockatrice's aura is going to be like doing its thing. So on a 4+, they can only hit on 6s.
Correct. So yeah, he's gone for the super defensive screen. Don't forget, you've also got Arcane Suggestion, which is cast on at 8, but obviously Tzeentch don't really care about that. Which is a spell that you're going to see coming out of the Curseling, and that is going to be you can make a unit -1 save. You can make a unit take not be able to issue or receive command abilities. But the important one is going to be -1 to hit, -1 to wound. Which, when you're running into a Tzeentch screen, which is -1 to hit, -1 to wound, even worse.
Yeah, and like if Derek wins priority and gives it to Kieran, he just activates his home objective, and Kieran is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's losing. He's going to be bleeding points for the rest of the game. Table 3, we have just unfortunately lost Kragnos.
Oh,
Kragnos
no.
was on the table. Toby, love Toby, is running around with his spiders. He was explaining to me over breakfast this morning. He's like, Rob, I've really only got 2 threats: Kragnos and 1 Scuttle Boss that costs 120 points. The rest of my army is chaff, and it's really rubbish chaff.
But which one's better? Kragnos or the Scuttle Boss?
The Scuttle Boss. He's done. He did like 48 mortal wounds.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, so Toe Rogan is down. Good old Kragnos is out. Crag Bros sad in the chat because he's up against the wonderful Rob. First time I got to meet Rob. Rob is running around with 3 units of long strikes, which is legit like a play. Like, I'm going to say it now. I think 6 long strikes is honestly a thing. 9 long strikes is a thing. Kragnos was on the board. Same way I think running like 4 or 5 Blood Pelt Hunters is a thing. There's a monster on the board. It's not on the board after 4 or 5 Blood Pelt Hunters. True. Yeah, and I kind of like that. I think that's quite engaging. Robs are the best, I agree. Mr. Warhammer Rob, the better Rob of the chat. He's just taken Kragnos out in one shooting phase. One turn.
Love it.
One turn. And it's just prodigious. And they're also in the Sharpshooter Battalion. Not that that's going to overly matter. Not that it's only overly matter. He's also got Bastion, and he's got some screens here as well. But 750 points of raw output. I know it's fragile, but what do you think about 9 long strikes?
It's quite scary still, isn't it? And especially because they're units of 3, they can use the Holy Command.
Yes.
So the Holy Command to shoot in the hero phase.
So pseudo 12 for 1 turn.
Yeah. So I think they still do a lot of damage. They're still quite a big threat. But a lot of points, aren't they? Don't get quite a lot, so that much. He's got like there's 3 units, and he's got Bastion as well. And you've just seen Bastion go into this spider here. So I just assume that spider's gonna die now.
Yeah.
But you just don't get a lot of board presence. I mean, the 3 units of long strikes. And they're quite fragile.
Yes.
So if you do get into them, if you do shoot them, they do just die.
Yes. Yes, they do. They're very fragile. They're very fragile. You've got to be very clever. I like the idea that he's put Bastion in there as well. Bastion's kind of the tank unit in the list. Everything else is just hyper fragile. But having used just 6 previously, or 2 3s, I've just deleted the Earth, and it's felt really good. There is some good line of sight blocking terrain here. Do have like this big piece blocks line of sight. There was another piece which Toby replaced with the Loon Shrine, which also blocks line of sight. So on the opposite side, so I feel like there's enough line of sight blocking terrain here that you have the opportunity to hide.
Yeah.
Prize is a little bit of a difficult one to put terrain on. You could put that bit of terrain here instead, and on some of the other boards you will see that that's the case. So if we just jump over to table 4. should see that there are a piece here and then a piece here instead, which is pretty fun. So this final game on table 4, you got Kieran Bailey with his Zinch Force up there playing against Nathan Prescott with his Spider Fang. His mixed it's a King's Gits list. So it's a mixed arms force. He's got an Ragnarok and Web Spinner. He's got 3 Rock Guts, 3 Fell Waters. He's got 15 Spider Riders. He's got 5 Boingrots. He's just got Nathan doesn't generally tend to overly egg an army or care.
I got these ones. Gonna put them on the board. Have a great time.
Sorry, Mark. Okay, the Curseling is currently down on table 2. That he has died to the. Adam, can you explain this to me? Beast of Chaos on this table, and the Cursing just died. This is why I think the Zinch are a bin tier book now. Just this specific interaction, not anything else. Tell me what happened.
I assume it was a Great Bray Shaman off the board. Has used a heroic action, got a range of 18 inches, and just has D6 mortal wounds.
Wow. So
that Curseling would have just taken a straight D6 mortal wounds. I think they've only got 5 wounds. So if you roll 5 or 6, he just dies.
Wow.
Which is really nice, and it's also really good for because it's a heroic action. It happens at the start of the
hero phase.
So you can do that and then pick your battle tactic. Amazing. So you use it and then go, I'm gonna do it for an eye.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So you really want to build. I mean, it works really well into Lumineth as well. Obviously, after Texas Tech brings up that 4-up ward save. But there's definitely a good bunch of castle lists, and I think still in my personal opinion, I think Beasts will probably beat Seraphon. I think that's kind of the trick, depending if Seraphon go first or not. But you should be able to you should at least be able to take out the Astra. Right?
Yeah.
Which changes the game pretty significantly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you kill Croak, but with enough raiders and the heroic actions off the side of the board, you at least bunker that castle. So I think Beasts maybe struggle into some very big threats like high armor. Maybe they'll struggle into Soulblight Gravelord's list. Might struggle into Khorne as well because of the recursion. We'll see. KO might be a problem, not sure. But in my opinion, still, even with Seraphon on the horizon, still the best book. Maybe I need to play on the tabletop to see, but we will see as time goes on. KO currently best army in the game, 62% win rate right now. But that's because everyone else has to deploy on the board. Beasts just don't have to.
Don't care.
They just don't care. They just don't have to. I quite like the idea of 9 long strikes into KO as well. Just be off the board, drop down, kill the boat.
I wouldn't kill the boat.
Oh, you might kill the boat. You could kill the Thunderers. No, with 9, you're shooting 12 times. Maybe. We'll do the math later. But it's pretty interesting, is my point. Pretty interesting at the moment. And so, there's this kind of nice top-end rock, paper, scissors, which currently doesn't necessarily exist because people have to build and paint the armies. So, we'll see what it's like in 3 or 4 months.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, okay. So, we're now into the second turn. Looks like we've had a priority roll going into turn 2 on table 1. What happened in the first turn? Matt, with the first turn, gave the turn away to Josh. Josh deep-structured Cairn Wraith, killed 10 skeletons, then grabbed an objective with a unit of 10 Bladegeist Revenants. Matt, with his first turn, sent a Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon over, murdered those 10 Bladegeist Revenants. The skeletons he returned and created a screen for himself over here and put some Ethereal Blood Knights on the middle of the board. Looks like he's just won the priority into 2. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury, this could be a turn 2 game.
I'm not sure how I feel about this side of Matt.
What, aggro Matt?
Aggro Matt is honestly a new.
Explain something to me though. We saw him yesterday go aggro. You felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Then you saw him do a classic shuffle round 3.
Made me feel much better.
Made you feel, but you didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never liked it.
Okay.
But it put me back in that comfort zone because that first game that we streamed.
Yeah.
That whole round, I had no idea what was going on. Matt G was playing aggressive.
It was all confusing.
And honestly, it confused my little brain.
But now he's aggro again.
And honestly, I don't want to do it anymore.
On the prio from Matt, he's in, and so now he's pushing in. Also, just something to shout out: Luca Vi made a long bomb run round here.
Oh my God!
Luca Vi is also in this fight as well.
Aggro Matt is terrifying.
Yeah. This is he's gonna have to survive a lot here, and this is gonna be a problem. We like the pace with which look at Maggi.
I've never seen him go so fast.
We need tree hugging hippie Matt back. I agree. We need just hanging out in a corner doing some Sylvaneth vibes. Matt.
I don't like it.
Yeah, aggro Matt is powerful. Coots also. Just want to shout out you. You're wonderful. So happy to see you in the chat. So Josh chose his own objective, having lost the priority role on Prize of Galette, this battle plan, with Matt taking the turn. Josh got to choose it to activate an objective. He activated this objective. Ladies and gentlemen, it is happening. It's happening. So we're going to see the full send, as they say. Even the corpse cart's running.
Rob, I don't like it.
Okay, even the corpse cart. That's pretty good.
Rob, I don't like it.
Yeah. This Vampire Zombie Dragon is apparently going to absolutely wreck face.
Well, I assume what's going to happen is that Zombie Dragon is going to go in. The Blood Knight's going to go in. Luke of Eye is going to go in. They're going to clear the screen with like one of the units, because apparently that's how much output they've got.
Yeah.
And then the next unit piles into Nagash and potentially just nukes Nagash.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
What's the no ward save thing?
Yeah.
That's only against the Zombie Dragon's attacks?
No, it's a heroic. No, it's it's a heroic action done by the Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon.
Okay.
But then all of the dragon, because it's a heroic action,
Yeah.
same way as when you do a heal or anything, it applies to the model. So the Zombie Dragon itself attacks
So
also.
you wouldn't get. It's not like you put it on an enemy unit.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. So the
So he'll get the ward save versus the Blood Knights and like Luke of Eye and that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we did just hear that the Vampire Zombie Dragon did fail a charge, though.
On a double one.
On a double one, but he has made the charge and is in now. I think we're going to see him try his hardest. There you can see him measuring to Nagash before he moved in. He's going to try and wipe out the screen in front of him first. Yeah. We're going to put Luke of Eye in as well, I'm pretty certain, so the Vampire Lord can go in. So Luke of Eye has also got the charge here, and then it's all going to be about the Blood Knight block here. They're going to go in. They're going to need as many attacks as possible. Don't forget they're all going to be hitting on 2s, thanks to Deathless minions.
Yeah.
Also, Luke of Eye will also be hitting on 2s. Josh is going to be wondering why he got out of bed this morning. That's what
we're all wondering.
I hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday out at home.
I hope they're all in bed.
Huh?
I hope everyone at home is just in bed.
Just in bed, just tucked up. Let us know if you're all in bed, tucked up, just seeing some absolute monstrous behavior on this top table being put out. I mean, this is probably just the most killer list here at the event. Although
this is the most killer list of my lifetime.
Yeah, are you mega impressed by this? Can you
honestly,
not think of counters and other stuff?
No,
really.
This is one of the hardest lists I think I've seen in a long time. Just because of the 2-up ethereal on the Blood Knights and the 3-up ethereal on the Zombie Dragon.
Do you not think the KO could just take it out?
No.
Because of the ethereal?
Because of the ethereal. Because the KO rely on the -4 rend, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Only if you're outside the boat, though, never forget.
Never forgive.
It's true. Yeah, you only get the rend outside of the boat. Come on. Why would this be remember? You can't roll wards. It's definitely the attacks from the Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon. Yeah, but they kill Neff. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The KO can at least kill Neferata. So then that means the Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon... No, sorry. The Blood Knights then don't have the save. So I think it's like a house of cards. But by that point, probably the Vampire Lord has gone in and murdered you.
I was chatting to Matt about it yesterday. I was like, what do you think about KO? He's like, it's fine. Like... No.
I guess it requires a couple of prios, right? Like, I mean, the game at the very top end...
I'm not saying, like, nothing beats this army.
Yeah.
Because everything's broken at the moment. If everything's broken, nothing's broken.
Yeah. And then it becomes again against that rock, paper, scissors mechanic. That's what I'm kind of talking about at the minute.
Yeah.
I think there's some really interesting stuff. I think the main mechanic at the minute is how to avoid being murdered in 2 turns by KO. Like, that's the main thing. And then it's going to be how to not be murdered by Seraphon in 2 turns. That seems to be the current...
Do you know my fix was for that when it last happened?
What?
Hope you dodge it.
Just dodge the matchup, mate.
Dodge it.
Just dodge the matchup. I mean,
play what you want.
I wonder if Slaves to Darkness are kind of okay into Tzeentch. Not Tzeentch, sorry, Seraphon. Just specifically because they just ignore, like, they have a 5-up ward against all those spells. That's pretty legit. Corner got a 5-up against the spells. It might not end up being as scary as we think.
Just dodge it.
Okay, so we've just had. Oh, don't forget, Luca Vi is able to do two monstrous actions because she's an Avangori, even though we're playing in Legion of Blood. So she has done Roar and a Stomp into.
Right.
Yes. Whereas what we've, I don't know if we can find out if the Vampire Zombie Dragon has gone for Titanic Jewel, potentially. But I don't know if you have to be within an inch to do Titanic Jewel, or if you have to be within 3 inches. That's where you get +1 hit. Oh, you have to be within 3, so he hasn't been able to do it. That means he would have got +1 to hit, +1 to wound. I mean, that's pretty nice getting like the Avangori to do the other things, and then you just get the big tank +1 to wound.
+1.
Yeah. So now he would be his whole profile would be a Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon, which would be 2s and 2s.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's pretty good.
Right, really good.
Yeah,
really good. Because the issue with the Zombie Dragon is like half his attacks hit on 4s.
Oh,
which
really?
Is pretty rubbish.
Yes, very rubbish.
Which is why his Doomed Minions thing is so good, because it means that you go from hitting on 4s to 2s, which is normally impossible.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, we're staying here because this is going to be probably the pivotal moment of the game. Obviously, there are loads of other games happening. They're all really exciting. We're recording those games. We're going to put them up on Patreon, either later today or tomorrow. But so we got Nagash. Nagash is on a Finest Hour and a Mystic Shield.
Okay, so he's got a 1+ save.
Yeah, a 1+ save
with a 5-up ward. Oh wait.
No, he don't have the ward save, but like there isn't tons of rend out of there.
Yeah.
So I don't think he dies. I don't think he dies. And then he ends up next to. Then you just see the most heroic game you've ever seen. Handed us off the. Handed us off the Vampire Lord. Then he combats into the other fellas, the Blood Knights, takes them off. Then next turn, just on the double, just handed us off Luca Vi, kills them. And then he's just laughing.
Well, I assume he's just not going to put Nagash in 3, right?
Yes. So we have heard that Nagash isn't currently. The Vampire Zombie Dragon isn't actually getting within 3 inches of Nagash. This does mean, although if no one is within 3 inches of Nagash, so he's just discussing that now. No one's within 3 inches of Nagash. Nagash won't be able to pile in.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing.
I think that's with the play.
So just for the micro, for everyone at home, the thing that we're trying to talk about is that, as you can see on the board, he's completed all these charges, but none of his units here are inside of 3 inches of Nagash, so he's not locked in combat. And you might be asking yourself, oh, Rob, surely he wants to murder him. What he's really worried about is in the next turn, because Josh gets the next turn, he's going to be able to do a spell that's a 3-inch range. And so he doesn't want to let him pile in any direction so that he can do that Hand of Dust spell, potentially kill a Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon. So he's going to kill everything. And then Nagash is going to be outside of 3, just doing a couple of spells. Charge in, maybe on the double. He does something.
Yeah.
But probably not.
I just think Matt's just got too much board presence at this point. Like, even though most of his army is locked here, still got Neferata here, you've still got the skeletons here, you've got the corpse cart blocking here, and then you've got some more skeletons blocking there. But, like, even though you've got the main blob of his army, like, Josh is stuck.
Yes. Yeah, Josh is stuck.
And you remember, like, the only objectives is this objective and this objective. But, like, even though Josh is on this objective, Matt's got way more stuff now. And then he's got to try and get here. But, like, how do you get there?
Yes, it's a really good point. Nagash hasn't got enough output to fight this now. That's a good point. Objective rings are actually coming back in stock soon.
Are they?
They're being redesigned. So someone asking about the objective rings in the middle. Yeah, they're being redesigned. I still think it'll be like a month or so before we actually can put any information
Need some
out.
new ones.
Yeah, so we're just going to redesign them so that circle in the middle is an inch, and there's also a cross for the center point. And then we're probably going to make the color grey. While I absolutely love the yellow for being able to like do live coverage and see them, the whole purpose of them was always to make them as non-impactful.
Honestly, I think you should just go the opposite, like lime green.
glaring pink.
Honestly, I'd buy those. Can you do different colours?
Yeah, the pink ones obviously would cost more money. Hashtag girl tax.
I'm in.
The pink pound or whatever it is.
But if you can get them, I'm getting them.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's
Alright,
true.
sweet, thanks.
And you will be able to. You can definitely drive over them, even cut them. You can use them to sand down small people. Yeah. But it's going to take a month or so still. But anyway, they'll be back as soon as they can. We also have on our website those terrain markers that you can see there. So if you do go on thehonestwargamer.com/terrain, there is a free terrain pack that you can all use, used by us. Next time there's GHB, we'll update that so you can use it again. And there are rules for using terrain. There are also terrain token that you can get from our store if you want.
I love the businessman that's come out of you.
Pardon me?
I love the businessman that's come out of you.
It's not. It's just meant to be useful. Like, I mean, they're free. You can just write them down if you want to on a bit of paper. That works just as well. You don't ever have to get the tokens, man. Right? It's not like they're you can just be like, these are the things.
Right,
the actual hard work.
Stop doing this.
The hard work is free.
Why did you not want to be called a businessman?
I don't know.
Come on, dude.
Because it doesn't feel okay. I don't like it. I'm a Warhammer bro. That's what I am. The most toxic of all people. The yellow's great. Okay, well that's some nice feedback. Thank you. But we'll see. I mean, they're very identifiable when they're yellow.
I think you should make them blue.
No.
And then put like a helmet inside the middle.
I don't want any of that. Okay, right, let's just jump through some of the other tables and let's just see what's happening. Yeah, exactly, trickle down, Rob. Okay, so it does look like BC Chaos right now haven't yet engaged with that Tzeentch castle in the middle, and that Tzeentch castle has slowly grown. Yeah, it started here.
I do love watching pink horrors.
And now it's just moving here in the most depressing movement ever. You have got some Carricks at the back here, Carricks at the back here, just holding those back lines.
Carrick and Derek.
These Spawn are grabbing these side objectives though, so they're able to just rack up points ASAP. And at some point, very soon, he has to be really cautious because the further he pushes out this elongated pink nose, he is going to have to worry because that cockatrice can only defend so much of the board with its maddening. What is this? What is
petrifying gaze?
It's petrifying gaze. I mean, shooting attack.
I don't know. Be anything.
So it could be anything, man. Right, so that's happening. Table 3. If you look, it does look like we've lost even more of the spiders.
I love how every time we just turn back to this one, it's like there's no more spiders. The spiders are gone.
Yeah, so it's just the spiders come on the board, 9 long strikes, murder the spiders, and then they just move forward. The true trick would be if we got the scuttle boss. You can see there Rob with his fantastic shirt. He's got a really nice shirt. Really nice shirt, which I think it's an extra small, but it's a really nice shirt. That's just for his mate in the chat. He's got like one mate in the chat who keeps insulting how tall he is. It's really mean.
Honestly, I'm in.
Like absolutely savage.
If it makes you feel better,
yeah.
Or I don't know if it'll make him feel better, but he's actually slightly taller than Mark.
He is.
So he's not the shortest person here.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. Yeah, so this is our KO terrain. Thank you for pointing that out, Hazel. It's not 100% finished yet. There's some OSL I'd like to do on the large piece here. I would, honestly. Doing something too much. He has a short temper. I reckon me and Valent paint whoever he is would get on.
Honestly, he should have come this weekend.
Yeah, you should have come this weekend. Get to an event, you fucking slacker. Sorry for swearing. Apologies.
You should be sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, Rob doing a great job there, having a fun time.
I bet Toby's having the best time here, just like literally bringing spiders down, watching them get a shot off, and go, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Well, Toby was explaining that he would rewrite his spider list
to have 2 units of 15 Boingrot Bounders.
No, he said he would keep Kragnos in. He would keep the Web Spinner Shaman with the Tusk Helm, which does an ogre charge. So for whatever the result of your charge roll is, you roll a dice on 4 up a mortal wound. Obviously, with Kragnos being able to charge 3d6. Yeah. So he keep that because that's 65 points for on average like 8 or 9 mortal wounds on the charge, which is kind of interesting. And then he said he would always keep the Scuttle Boss, obviously, and then everything else he would just take like shooters and stabbers. He said he would just want chaff. The spiders aren't very good as in the Spider Riders at all. So he would just have everything else be chaff. And I think that's quite an interesting combo. You could throw Scragrot in there. You're still pretty cheap on points. I don't think that's bad because then he's just, at the moment, he only has 2 threats. Scuttleboss and Kragnos, and both of them are dead right now. But yeah, so he's in this kind of interesting spot. Like, it definitely is not top tier as a list. But he's trying it out, and I think that's one of the cool things about Toby. And again, I really like what Rob's done with the 9 long strikes. Is it 5-0 material all the time?
No.
Probably goes into the wrong matchup. But maybe a great teams list. Is it still just... I think so. They just bang... the Blood Belt Hunter list is legit. They're 140 points. Like,
your mind works in a different...
Yeah. Like, there's some pure aggro. Yeah, because I'm not... Yeah. You can do something really interesting with that. I promise you. Go into the right matchup with
More
5 Blood
spiders
Pelts. Yeah, they're dying. Yeah, Rob's won this at deployment. And then Nathan, talking about deployment, we're still there.
I was just about to say, like, they done anything?
Nathan casting Scuttle into the enemy there.
Pink Horrors versus Nathan is a terrible idea.
I've played it several times. This will go on for hours. He's put the Moon spell here. This puts an aura of Moon out, which I think these Spider Riders are going to engage with at some point.
What does the Moon give spiders?
The Moon makes it so that the mortal wounds that they normally do on 6s happen on 5s.
Okay, that's quite good.
Yeah, very, very good. Especially if you have a mobile piece to apply that way you want to versus trying to rely on it. So it's really, really good. It's especially good to cast it and just travel around with the Trogs, because that puts the Trogs on a 3-up armor save 5-up ward.
Oh, right.
Which is like
really
very
good.
Yeah, very, very good. Like, again, it's not as good as like ultimately that first turn alpha with the with the Squig Herds. And the hoppers is still going to be very effective.
Yeah.
Because it pushes your opponent in. It means you don't take any damage. Oh, there you go. We're moving the Moon now. So Nathan's got the turn. So he's going to be looking to push that in there and maybe throw some models in. But yeah, it's very, very good. It's a really good endless spell to bring along, my personal opinion. Scuttle also as well. They're quite cheap. Scuttle is just going to keep pinging mortal wounds and generally stressing you out, especially Kairos, so you don't want to take any wounds. So very, very good. And then, so those are our games so far. But let's just jump back to table 1, which is our main showstopper.
Oh, wow.
Look, all the Blade Geist Revenants are dead in the middle. And so...
There's still some.
Oh, no, that's true.
There's
no, you're right. There are still some. I think you would have activated with Luca Vi first, I assume. And then would have activated with the Blood Knights. But we haven't got there yet. Maybe Mark could tell us. So a bit of a challenge here. Nagash could always run away. And then redeploy, like, then that unit of 20 when it's dead could drop off out that unit of 10. Matt may have elected to not kill them all.
Maybe.
Which is pretty interesting. So we'll see. But, I mean...
I love how there's still just a Chem Wraith.
Yeah.
Like, up here.
Yeah, I like that there's just, like 1,000 points versus Matt. So what? Josh's 1,000 points model.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Who will win?
Who will win? Like, who would have thought? He should just be cheaper, right? He should be like 800 points.
400.
No, not 400.
395.
But like, I mean, he can be as cheap as Teclis, in my opinion. I think that's fine. Teclis does more output.
What I'm hearing is
I mean,
that's the sweet spot.
Let's make him 795 points. I think that would have been a fine day, in my personal opinion. But yeah,
just go wild and have like 782.
Yeah, let's get to 2s. 2s make sense. I would prefer it if we got more 2 points in there. Giving the hero skeletons a day off. Chill, guys, you did well yesterday. That's true. The skeletons were the MVPs yesterday, and now they're just sitting on objectives being like, probably never going to die.
They're just there like, oh, up from yesterday.
I mean, 10 of them did die, but then 5 of them just returned.
All right.
Yeah. Also, by the way, remember we talked yesterday about taking MSU skellies?
Yeah.
So I don't think yesterday you were aware of the returning the skellies situation. So take your 30. When you finally do kill the 30, you then return a 15.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
Oh, no.
I think that's pretty good.
I didn't realize it was 3 away.
It's 3 away.
Oh, 9 away.
3 away.
There's like no more blocking grave sites.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, sorry. And the other bit, I'm not sure if you're aware of it. It's at the end of each movement phase, so you can in your hero phase you return them on a 3+, but you can still return them in your opponent's hero phase. So if you wanted to do like MSU skellies, you basically can return 10 units across a battle round if you roll the dice well. Like that's how it works.
What? No, thank you.
I mean, you can also put models back into the units as well. Obviously, we talked about them healing, which is really nice. So there's definitely a Skelly build. Not sure what you would put around it. It's not quite as effective.
Is anyone selling any cheap Lord of the Rings?
Some skeletons. Oh, you want to get into that game instead?
Yeah. Like,
What is MSU? MSU stands for multiple small units. It's a playstyle, which is kind of the
it's not
opposite.
a playstyle, it's a lifestyle.
That's true. It is a lifestyle. It's the opposite end of what we would call a Death Star build. So a Death Star build is where you would take a very strong unit. Let's say the
Blood Knights?
Blood Knights that we're seeing there. Although they're actually a bit too cheap to be what we would call a Death Star. It would be like, but they're enough. You put a bunch of buffs on. In this case, it's only a buff. So your Death Stars are like a hopper
I
unit.
love how it is actually one buff.
It's one buff.
Here's the one buff.
Here's the one buff.
Smashed
You win the game.
Good job.
I mean, they're probably Mystic Shield as well. But yeah, it's like you stack multiple buffs on. So the correct decision is something like hoppers for Gunslinger Gits, because you can give them a 5 at ward, you can give them extra attacks, you can give them extra move, you can give them extra rend, and then you buff them up and you send them off. Normally, in Gits' case, the problem is that they don't actually cost a lot of points.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the other end of it. Multiple small units is that they work really well on their own, and their strength is that they work really well on their own.
If you remember AOS 2 with all the eels, that was like a really good example of multiple small units.
The correct, I think the right example is your list actually. When you run loads of cockatrices in.
Oh yeah, I did it.
Yeah, in Age of Sigmar 3,
Yeah,
loads of multiple small units, and the problem is if you only have one big unit and you've got loads of small units, then there's not enough time in the game to murder all the small units.
There's not.
Which is kind of interesting.
Never enough
So
time.
again, those are some polar opposite list styles and variants that work really well as well. Okay, so we're on table 2. Just jump into that for a moment. Yes, Death Star 36 Squig Herd, correct. Although you can't put a lot of buffs on Squig Herd, so it would be more like more like the Hoppers or the Boingrot Bounders, and then the MSU would be the MSU would be 5 Boingrot Bounders, which is legit. I really tempted to build and paint 4 lots of 10 Boingrot Bounders, really cheap, mega effective. But I would even be tempted to run like 3 10s, 2 5s. There was just so much utility in those really cheap, powerful units, which is quite nice. They, like Adam was saying, those old eels. So over on table 2, we just heard that the Incarnate has been dropped a level. The Incarnate now is down to level 1. You're seeing this encroaching playstyle by this unit of pink horrors who are now engaged in the enemy. They're -1 to hit, it's -1 to hit, -1 to wound. Because these Tzeentch units are within range of a Tzeentch demon, this Incarnate now is -2 to hit, -2 to hit, and -1 to wound. So it'll be doing almost no damage into those pink horrors. If Matt has done it well, he'll also have a 5-up ward save on this pink horror block as well. So they'll have a 5-up ward. Yes, so they'll have a 5-up ward save. So then they're -2 to hit, -1 to wound. So from that, don't forget the Bulgor do have to land this turn. Oh, the horrors don't have a 5-up ward save, but they could have. They could have had a 5-up ward save. Oh, they do have a 5-up ward save. Okay. Who's the current top? We're just jumping over to table 1 now, just to remind everyone. Both Derek Erickson and Kieran dropped a game yesterday to Matt G. Matt G here just had his second turn. He won the priority from 1 into 2, where he has flooded Josh's board. As you can see, if I've got this right, Josh now has got a unit of Bladegeist Revenants on this flank. And then he's got Nagash. So he's still got his Bladegeist Revenants left. Still got his Bladegeist Revenants left here. They haven't all died, which is pretty good. Nagash is here. But you have Lukavai, Vampire Zombie Dragon, and 10 Blood Knights with Neferata at the back, buffing it up. And the rest of the board is all Matt's right now. We are doing best painted armies and units. That happens in the lunch break. We do coolest army, which is good. Yeah, you feeling a bit better about Soulblight Gravelords now, Terry? Hopefully. Hope that's good. After the book review, I know you didn't feel too confident or too positive. You show them online. We're going to post some pictures and put them up. So table 3. Okay, so Toby failed several consecutive 9-inch charges. He deep struck with his big spiders, and he failed all of those charges. Rob has just won the turn, and if you look, Rob has got like open field here. Yeah, as long as he can see those units over the height of the table, he's going to be able to shoot this unit, shoot this unit, and shoot this unit. I'm just playing to the crowd, Mark, the table boss. They're enjoying the jokes, so I'm making them. I'm going to continue. Chat horrible. Table boss feeding back. Morning, Owen. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good run for everyone who's just joined us. Going to just quickly run through the tables again for everyone.
I've just joined us.
Yeah. We were just enjoying Derek Erickson's name, to be fair. I agree.
I'm not enjoying Derek Erickson's name because of the reason he changed it.
Exactly, the marriage. The two people playing on table 1, Matt and Josh, as well as being teammates for the Bad Moon Loons, are both 3-0. The only players here at the event who are 3-0. It does look like Matt's in a driving position, both in experience and also army type. He's running Soulblight Gravelords, Neferata Vampire Lord, Blood Knights, all pushing into Nagash and some Bladegeist Revenants. We already lost a unit of 10. This unit of 20 on the left, as you can see, have lost 5 from them from these combats. But going into Josh's turn, he's going to be able to heal. He's going to be able to heal some of them back and fight.
How is he going to heal them back?
So Nagash can return up to 3. To a unit.
That's quite good.
Each hero phase, yeah, it's quite good. He can do it to 3 units anywhere on the board.
Okay.
But Josh has only got the 1 to heal at the moment.
Well, not forget. I keep forgetting that Josh has still got 10 guys in the sky.
Yes, he does. Yeah, there are 10 board Bladegeist Revenants somewhere
coming down from the lightning.
Yeah. Which is not nothing. So they're on the board.
Well, there's even more wounds on the charge, aren't they? So
yeah,
could do something.
He could easily start threatening this portion of the board, right? Yeah. Nagash just has to start using his 1,000 points.
Nagash, you almost don't want to risk him in combat. Like even if you put him in combat, literally just play for a double and then go for a hand of dust.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I think he has to play really aggressively now, and it'll be interesting to see what he does. Over on table 2 though. Over on table 2, we've got Derek Erickson, and he's playing up against Kieran with his Beast of Chaos. Derek running a Tzeentch list. Running a Tzeentch list right now. He's running a Tzeentch list, and he's running against a Beast of Chaos army, which has got 9 Bulgor and an Incarnate in.
Yeah, I really don't know whether what the Bulgor here are going to do, because now the Incarnate's leveled down a bit. It's going to be quite tricky for Kieran, because now he's really only got the one big threat, which and the Bulgor, realistically, they've got to come down this turn. So if I've got to come down sort of here, go in here, and then try and deal with some pinks, or they go in here, have to deal with pinks, or they sort of come in at the back and just deal with the screens at the back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's well, where do you actually go? Because 9 Bulgor do a lot of damage, but do they do 100 wounds into pink horrors?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, they're very good. They're very good.
Obviously, don't forget that Matt's also got a cockatrice.
Which is going to...
If he gets to 4+, they do nothing.
And that's an Unleash Hell, right? It's not an ability, it's a shooting attack.
It's an ability. It's the start of the combat phase.
What? In each combat phase?
Yeah.
Crazy. Each combat phase.
Yeah, start of combat phase, pick a unit within 6, 4+, D3 mortals, and they only hit on 6.
If they take any mortals?
If they take any mortals. Wow. But obviously, Kieran's army's got no ward saves, so if you do a mortal wound, you're doing a mortal wound.
Yeah, of course. That's crazy. Crazy cool. Okay, so so if anything, Matt's just built an even more defensive and survivable castle.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. It plays really well on this battle plan, but I know for a fact that Matt has not been particularly keen on this army list. He was talking about it yesterday. He said one of the things he doesn't like about it is it just he can make it so that you charge his pings, but then he's like, but then I don't do anything to your army, which also mirrors my thoughts with it. So that's table 2. That's kind of the ongoing. We're still waiting for these 9 Bulgor to come down, drop on the board. On table 3, it's all over pretty much. Toby about to get a load of spiders lifted. He's one of the few Grimscuttle players in the world.
Yeah.
Has personally improved the win rate for Grimscuttle, but it will not be in this game because he is being murdered.
Yeah, those long strikes are being really effective at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
And even though those 3 spiders have now come down, Rob's done a really nice, like, he's screened here, screened there, and it's meant those spiders here, and here, they've all had to come down 9 away from them.
Yes.
But it's okay, because this guy's still alive.
Yes, it is.
The Scuttle Boss.
The Scuttle Boss. He's 130 points of raw power. Yesterday, it's just incredible. It would be really fun to maybe see multiple Scuttle Bosses. Although obviously I don't really believe in bosses, so probably just multiple Scuttle Union workers.
Are the boss now?
Oh my god, multiple Scuttle Union workers. But either way, just doing a ton of damage is actually pretty funny. I really enjoy that. So that's what we're seeing on table 3. And on table 4, Nathan Prescott is playing against another Tzeentchian castle. Kind of interesting. We've got three spider armies here at the TSN Arena and 3 Tzeentch forces, which is not what I was expecting. But to be honest, Adam, the pace of books that have come out recently, honestly, I don't expect people to have all of those armies ready yet to play.
No, unless you've had the book for 6 months already.
Yes, yeah, correct. Or, amazing from Josh here. Josh did Black Hawk Down. Yeah, he did Broken Arrow. He cast the Realm Spell, and we talked about this. We talked about this earlier. We talked about the Realm Spell and what it's going to be able to do. Oh no, not this. Come on, Rob. One day.
I truly believe in you.
Why have I put it? So he cast the Grinding Teeth of Galette. So he chose this center objective right in the middle, right in the middle. Hit all of these units, potentially doing D6 mortal wounds on a 4-up, and rolled no 4+s.
Oh.
Right? This stream needs more air horns and explosion noises. Okay. I'll try.
Where is Nagash?
Huh? Where is Nagash? Yeah, he's teleported away. Right there.
Ah.
Okay, so Soulblade Gravelord not. Oh wait, how did he teleport?
There's a spell in Nighthorn, isn't there?
No, that's the one that's in Osiarks. Protection of Nagash is in Osiark Bone Reapers.
There's an actual teleport spell in Nighthorn, isn't there?
Oh, cool. All right, well he teleported away. Nice. And is now like.
To be fair, Nighthorn's whole game plan is 9-inch charges.
That is true.
So you know,
that is true.
I got this.
So he's teleported away. He's moved the rest of his way. He's just given up his objective. He's like, do you know what?
I ain't got time for this.
Maybe he's not conscious of the fact that Matt can still move those units after. Like as in the next turn, he's going to still get to charge him again.
He's like, no. It's done now.
Yeah, this is. You stay here. Yeah, because it does feel like when you get your army onto your opponent's objective, you feel like it's over. It's a bit like chess when you get your pawn to the end of the. Like. Okay. So the reason he's teleported over there, he chose the battle tactic eye for an eye. So what he's trying to do is get a 9-inch charge here into the skeleton warriors, kill the skeleton warriors, lift them up the board. Right? I think that's the interesting element. Yeah, he maybe has moved that unit off for retreat and charge, but I very much doubt he's going to charge back into the Bloodnuts. If he was going to
retreat and charge, he would just go out of free, right?
Yeah, he's definitely moving over.
He's playing the long game here.
Yes, this is going to be quite good. So he's trying to get some dudes on the objectives, trying to score some points, because Matt has dominated the board now. Matt has done what my friend Tom likes to say is he's taken the middle. There's a general theory in Warhammer that if you can take the center of the board, you own the board and win the game. Because when you're in the center, every point is as close as it can be from the middle, effectively.
Okay.
Like, so if you can get to the center and project power outwards in any direction, then you will dominate the board because you are always you can go in any way. Especially good in 40k, because what you're able to do is obviously there's a lot of shooting, so being able to project power like that is much easier than the more combat orientated Age of Sigmar. But that's generally what, and obviously you also need to be able to maintain and hold the center, but that's a strategy generally that people talk about a lot. Push to the middle.
I've been playing Beast Chaos wrong.
Oh really?
Or because my philosophy is don't go in the middle.
Well, I mean,
Scary middle.
Also really fair to say that Age of Sigmar and 40k are wildly different games, and Age of Sigmar is a much more dynamic game state than 40k.
Leave the middle alone. Scary.
Wish not to engage, please.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. So yeah, kind of interesting, but doesn't always or doesn't always necessarily pan out.
Yeah.
But in this case, Matt has obviously done that, especially as and it does work for Matt. Wherever Josh decides to orientate around, then Matt's going to be able to go. So it does work in this particular situation.
Do you think he's going to bring on those extra 10 blade guys down here to get an extra 9-inch charge and maybe go in here, try and get his battle?
That would make sense.
Battle tactic.
That would make sense. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like then he's got 3 chances to roll the 9 up. That makes sense. I mean, if we're talking about taking the center, Derek has done the same job here, right?
Yeah.
He's like dominated the board. He's got the middle back. He's in a comfortable position. So,
really, really interesting to see where those Bolgor go.
Yeah, I think the right decision is the backboard here and just ignore the pinks. They can just keep fighting into the Incarnate, and then on the next turn, Derek Erickson actually make the choice is the spells, because there's so much limited output. The spells go into the Incarnate, which feels like the right call, or are they going into the Bulgor? I imagine what he's going to do is, if the Bulgor do land at the back and kill some stuff, he's going to put all the spells into the Incarnate, retreat Kairos over, and then reclose this screen off, and then just flip the castle like a flip reverse, which is very Zinchian.
It is very, very Zinchian.
Very Zinchian. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just proud that all the cockatrices on the board are mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also on table. Yeah. On both sides.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Terry saying this looks super slick. I imagine the game plan. I'm just wondering what he's saying. I'm not sure. When you're, it's a natural instinct of tabletop gamers from old age when our ancestors were real warlords. What, taking the middle?
We're all real warlords.
Yeah, we are real warlords.
I'm a real warlord. I've been a warlord for years.
Yeah, we're warlords. We're warlords. Anyone with 50,000 subscribers on YouTube also naturally a warlord.
Straight away a warlord.
A warlord.
Especially when it's that easy.
Right? You barely got to do anything.
Like, you literally just turn up on YouTube. There you go, 50,000.
50,000, yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Still waiting, though, myself personally, for that to be true.
Yeah, you just got to get good.
I've been trying so hard, I promise. Okay, table 3. It's all over. Spiders are dead. Spiders got nothing on the board.
They do. They got 2 spiders.
There's nothing.
They're going to kill the world.
I love what Rob's been doing here. This is fun. Like, again, look where Rob is. Projecting power from the center of the board, controlling the game state. He has had to progress there and move up. But he's just been able to dominate the board more and more from the middle. Really solid. Love to see it. Nathan also doing the same job. This is the kind of interesting thing for Kieran, in my personal opinion. And this is why maybe it's going to go Nathan's way. Is Kieran is being hyper defensive at the back instead of doing, like, it's a nice mirror between what Matt and Kieran are doing. Matt with a little bit more experience, pushing aggressively into the middle, making it a little bit more risky for himself and a bit cagey. Kieran defending on the back line, and as you can see, Nathan has all the objectives now. He's going to keep scoring. He doesn't even have to engage. If you don't get inside this 18-inch kill box of Kairos and some of the other units, then you just aren't even taking any damage, and you've got the board state in a good place. So, Prize and Galay are a really good battle plan. I think it's a lot of people's favourite battle plan.
Prize and Jaws are the best in the game.
I think Prize and Jaws are the best in the game. I don't hate Nada's Paths just because it doesn't really do anything.
Oh, sorry. Twist and turns.
Twist and turns is
damn it.
Hyper good. Right. Yeah, the middle is important on this battle plan. In Jaws, it's kind of different to not be in the middle. But yeah, they're all very, very fun and quite engaging. Prize and Jaws are the best, which is interesting. Like this, I would say this GHB doesn't have a load of good battle plans, but it definitely has 2 good ones. And what's interesting is, in my opinion, if you go into a 2-day event or even a 1-day event, these should be the 2 battle plans you're playing.
Yeah.
It's
plus
short.
Realmstone Cash and Twist.
Not those. But you should be playing these, and if you are playing these, then
smashing it.
Yeah, I would practice these. If I was going to play a pickup game as well, I would either play Prize or I'd play Jaws.
Yeah.
I think that makes the game more interesting. So that would be my initial advice for anyone out there. I wouldn't pick up any other, because also if you don't play a lot of games, if you play a game a week,
it's
still going to take you 12 weeks to play all of the missions.
Yeah.
3 months, half of the GHB's life to play each one of the missions, let alone multiples of the mission.
Oh, I play too much.
Yeah, so I would personally say just focus on a couple, like these two being specific ones,
Yeah.
and just learn how they work, because they're really good. Play versus another AOS newbie, and he said he hates those two missions. Okay, well, it's just
Just get good.
well, to quote the show, it sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck. But it does. But like I promise you, from a gameplay perspective, they're more engaging, not less. But I can definitely see how
They're really, to be fair, like if you are new, they are awkward because there's so much. Like the
You're
reason
overloaded.
they're good is because of the actual tactics you've got to use.
and you don't have any ability. You don't even know what your units do. How can you apply tactics when you don't even know what your units do, right?
Yeah, and the thing with Jaws and Prize, there's so much like on that priority roll, it actually makes it a decision. If you take it, then you can do damage. If then your opponent activates an objective, whereas if you give it, you're gonna take damage, but you can activate an objective, and that just adds an extra layer of like actual thought process. Whereas a lot of missions, you can just go, I'm gonna take a double, lol.
And also, you're making those decisions at deployment.
Yeah,
You're making
honestly, yeah. Because you've got to be thinking like, right, if I don't go first, if they give me first turn, then how am I gonna put something on an objective?
Table 1, Nagash made the 9-inch charge. We talked about this. Nagash did the teleport spell to get the battle tactic. He needed a 9-inch charge with a reroll, not necessarily very reliable. But he got it. He's into the 10 skeletons. So this is the Lord of Death.
Yep.
1,000 points of combat prowess into 85 points of skeleton, literal but dust warriors made of bone and immaterial magic. And Nagash himself was able to kill 5 skeleton warriors.
Sucks to suck.
Oh my god. So just FYI, Battle Lines Drawn for life. Oh my god, I miss Battle Lines Drawn as a battle plan. That's such a good battle plan.
Literally don't remember.
I might just put that in packs here. They're so good. It's
Let's
just
do an open play.
No,
I'm
not
gonna
that.
take 4 cracks.
No, Battle Lines Drawn is your objective's 1, their objective's worth 3 or 4, and then the 2 in the middle are worth 2 on the sides.
Yeah, let's do open play.
I love that mission. It's the best mission. So anyway, Nagash, unable to kill these skeleton warriors. Josh set up for the double, though, going into the priority roll, and Josh has not won the priority roll. Matt G and the Legion of Blood have got the priority roll here.
Chicken dinner, winner dinner.
Okay, so is Matt taking the turn?
He's gotta take the turn.
Matt, it seems, is taking the turn. If nothing else, just to get those skeleton warriors out of dodge. Which is
all those skeletons coming back.
All those skeletons coming back. I think that they even get to heal skeletons even if they're not in combat. Yeah, which is pretty fun.
Wow.
The real. If they go back to 12-month less skewed GHBs and announce this at one first, actually, you'll be happy. Okay, excellent. Yes, I'm also looking forward to like 12-month battle plans.
Honestly, I'm in for 6.
I 100% agree with you, but the percentage of people who it's positive for is very low. And while that benefits me and you personally,
they should carry on.
I agree.
Honestly, I'm really selfish.
I think for the majority, it doesn't end up being that way.
That's fine, but I like thinking about myself.
But also, we're in a really interesting space with the 12-month GHB, because you've obviously got those 3-month, the 3-month quarterly updates, which sometimes are nominal, but sometimes are really effective. But also, by Christmas, we'll be into the end, well, not the end times, but the Broken Realms again for the end of AOS 3 into AOS 4.
Oh, yeah.
So Christmas into next summer is the end of AOS 3 into AOS 4, which honestly feels crazy because I feel like we've barely got used to like battle tactics and stuff.
Do you know what would be hilarious?
What?
If the end times AOS 3 and then they release AOS 4, it's actually just the old world.
like that meme where something goes dark and you just always end up in Skyrim.
Yeah, and we're back.
We're back in Skyrim. Okay, well let's hope not. I'm actually kind of worried about AOS 4 because I think Age of Sigmar 3 is legit brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I have very few negative. Like I'm worried about them adding more for the adding more sake. I have no problems with the game. Maybe some units are overcooked, sure, But like the game works great. Battle plans could be a little bit better, but anything other than that, and I'm like, this is a great game state, which is a shame. Shame to get a new edition on top of that.
Sucks to suck.
A suck to suck. That's what those rule writers do.
They really do.
They made a game too good. Better terrain rules would be nice. That's true, but I've already written them for you, so it's fine.
All right, sorry.
All right. Well, I'm just saying.
You can buy them now.
No, they're free. They're free on honestwargamer.com.
Only $9.99 a month.
Okay, so Matt has just put 4 skeleton warriors back into that unit on the far right hand side. So they're healing from the gravesite.
These skeletons are wild.
I told you. Imagine MSU skeletons. Like they're so cheap, man. Like so cheap. You can run 230s and like what can you run? 230s.
85 points.
85 points. You can run 230s and like 7 10s, and that's 1,000 points.
You have like.
Okay.
So you get 200.
Yeah.
No, 1,700.
It's not bad though, right? Right.
Just imagine 200 skeletons, all in units of 10.
Legit. Like,
Go on, kill me.
Yeah. Then do the redeploy. Yeah. And then just put like 3 lines in the front. Like.
I don't want to play.
Okay. Anyway.
Right. These Matt's got a turn, right?
Yep.
So
Matt has won the priority roll going into turn 3.
You reckon the zombie dragon's gonna like yeet that way?
So we've just heard that the zombie dragon has done the heroic action, which means that he gets to ignore ward saves.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is good.
Standard.
So he is probably off to go and fight Nagash. But he may not. He may just pop around here. Don't forget, we are playing Nighthaunt, and Nighthaunt do have a command ability called Discorporate, which means that they can have a 5-up ward save. So that's something that's still available as well. So that he may want to just ignore the ward save over on that side. He might want to put the Blood Knights in. Probably.
I think the Blood Knights probably go at Nagash, right? And the Zombie Dragon goes for the Blade Guys.
Nagash has already wasted his finest hour, so the +1 save. So he now is a little bit more killable. Obviously, he's going to all-out defense, but if then again throwing the monster over could be really good. I think Lukavai is still there, but Lukavai is not fast enough. So this is Lukavai. Lukavai is still not fast enough to go after Nagash as well. He's quite far away. You could just wipe out this unit on the side, and then Nagash is just being the 1,000-point pudding. It does look like Matt's making that choice. And then why would you go after, like, the risk of going after Nagash, who can hand a dust off your models, is significantly high versus the low risk of going after the Blade Geist Revenants on the side, especially after you watch Nagash just not be able to kill 85 points of skeleton warriors.
I think, honestly, I'd quit.
Yeah. If
this was a PlayStation game, I would have broken my
what when Nagash didn't kill something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I would love to see competitive Khorne play on the tabletops now. I'm really excited about that. Rob's playing on one of the lower tables with his Sinesh Force. That's mega engaging. The game is so dynamic. Like I could play a couple of games of Warhammer every day now for a couple of weeks. There are so many armies out there, so many playstyles, so many things to play that is actually really engaging. So, looking forward to that. I mean, I'm not doing that, but that would be fun to do. So some really good army lists out there, and people are still building and painting them. So the last half of this year is going to be crazy. So many different armies, so many different play styles, so many different things you haven't seen. It'll feel like a brand new game, which I think is legit. And most of those books have been lifted up significantly power level wise, right?
You think?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I mean, yes, they have. Yes, they have. I'm still torn. Like, I want to play. Like, if you were to give me an army to play now, it would be OBR, Seraphon, and with Beast probably winning.
Playing Cruel Boys, Bones, and Skaven.
Do you even know what Nighthaunt are one of the worst performing factions now?
What?
Yeah. Skaven doing okay.
This year is wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, the fact that, 6 months ago, I was like, Nighthaunt, terrifying. And Lumineth Sentinels, terrifying. And now I'm like, Nighthaunt,
Yeah.
Sentinels,
I support Yeah, table 3, that makes sense. That's all over. Rob winning. Let's stop that recording. That seems like an obvious win there. Well done to Rob and the Spiders, just trying their hardest. Nathan still unhappy with the idea of just sitting back and winning the game, has thrown his army into Kieran Zinch Force.
Yeah, can't be doing that.
We have finally seen the Bulgars land on table 2. They've dropped in the top left-hand corner.
Really far away.
Really far away. I'm not 100% certain why.
Not even on an objective.
We've also seen the Zangor Shaman land on the far left-hand side.
Also not on an objective.
Not an objective. I think that they're outside of the 18-inch kill bubble from Kairos.
Has Kieran forgot the game?
Don't know what he's doing. Don't forget, that is a unit that can land 7 inches
That's what
away.
I mean. Like, eat yourself into.
Yeah, surely you just land here, and then you just go.
Because the thing is, the cockatrices are always going to be there.
Unless you kill them.
Yeah, but with what? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got no ranged output.
That's right. That's what I mean. I think the Incarnate, like having watched this play a few times now, the 500 points worth of Raiders would have done so much more for this army. Wants to break open a castle and charge Bulgor in.
Yeah.
And the Incarnate doesn't do anything to add to that.
Yeah.
But the Raiders would. So if anyone isn't aware, Ungor Raiders have got shooting attack. It's not a great shooting attack, but it's an amount of dice. And then if you're 50 of them, or it's not 50. I don't know how many you would get for 500 points. But do you know how many you would get for 500 points?
About 30.
30. Okay, you would get 30. So that means you would get 60 shots off board.
30 or 40.
Yeah, you would get 30. Yeah, 60 shots off board. There's 60 shots on board every turn, and that would start clearing out at least those acolytes at the back here that you can see getting whittled down, and that would give you more opportunity to put the Bulgor in. I don't think the Incarnate does anything for the delivery system.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay, so we just heard that the Incarnate has swung into the horrors.
So Kieran's battle tactic is rampaging beast herd this turn, which is essentially you pick an objective that your opponent controls, and then you take that objective of 10 or more. So he's put these gore at the bottom here to take that objective. The issue is Derek's seen that, and as the Incarnate is killing the pinks, Derek has been like putting splitting on the home objective, which is essentially forcing the objective off of Kieran and back into Derek's hands.
Okay, yeah, I think this is unfortunate for Kieran in that it's just snowballing away from him more and more progressively.
I really don't get why those Bulgor didn't just smash in.
I don't know, but looking at this now, I'm hyped by the Bulgor. I'm hyped by what is the Bulgor leader called?
Doom
The Doom Ball. Hyped by that. I just think the Incarnate is actually weirdly the weak part of this list. Incarnate is incredible, don't get me wrong, but I would drop that. If I was going to play this list, which I'm very tempted to do, I would swap up those 500 points, in my personal opinion, and why are they so far away? I don't know. So let's just jump back to table 1 and see what's happened. 10 Blood Knights and a Vampire and Zombie Dragon are going after 5 Blade Geist Revenants and 10 Blade Geist Revenants on this side. The skeletons that we're screening here have moved around, and they're now screening that part of the board against Nagash. Obviously, those 10 skeletons can fight Nagash for at least 2 turns because he is rubbish. But the other 10, Blade Geist Revenants have appeared on the board at the top.
There they are.
At the top left. So they are threatened here. So while Matt is rotating around the board, I don't know. I think I would have just pushed Nagash in.
I think you just at that point when you were in that position, you just hope.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing about tempo, right? If your tempo is up, I'll try and draw on the screen. If your tempo is up, you don't have to make any risky decisions. You're here. When your tempo is down, you have to make very bad decisions, right? And hope that the dice go well. And that's just the science of it. You cannot play a game that's resource light when you are resource light. You
Yes.
have to,
Yeah.
you have to put more I don't think I have the right words for it yet, but you have to put more risk. Like you have to make riskier choices, and your economy has to be more of a gamble in order to bring the game back. And Josh isn't making those choices yet, which kind of makes sense. Josh is a super smart guy. He's really sweet, but I don't necessarily think he has like that chaotic energy that maybe is necessary for those kinds of choices. That's going to be something he's going to have to develop as a player.
Oh, love some chaos.
Yes, you do. Like, because in that situation, Adam, as we saw previously when Nagash was there, what would you have done?
Literally charge him straight in.
Me too.
Charge him straight in. Hope you don't die. Win the double. Hand of dust. Win the game.
Yeah, because you have to. Because there isn't another way.
You just can't have that zombie dragon doing its thing.
No.
And by running away, essentially let Matt go, all right, Nagash over there. I'll just go the other way.
Yeah. It's a really... if you can't beat it, correct, Phil, then
eat it.
You must, as Socrates said, yeet it.
Yeah, beat it, yeet it.
Yeah, that's the secret sauce, and that works. Like, it doesn't work all of the time. It does not work all of the time, but in a position where you're down, you must risk higher. There's got to be a better way to describe that. I'm going to do some reading. 50% of the time. Every time. I mean, it's true as well. Although, okay, so we're seeing that unit of Blade Geist Revenants lifted, I think, in the bottom left-hand corner. This means that we're going to be down. I
really feel for Josh.
Yeah. Josh is definitely down on points, but he's putting himself in a more backboard position. It's just, in fact, actually, the best example of this right now is Matt with his aggro castle versus Kieran with his defensive castle. Kieran hasn't put himself in a position to dominate the middle of the board or the game state. And therefore, that pressure by Nathan is making him more aggressive. And that pressure being exemplified by Matt in that middle of the board. He's in a risky position. It's cagey. We talked about those Doom Balls coming down. Maybe we could find out from Kieran, Mark, why he didn't put the Doom Balls, the Bulgor at the back. I'd be really interested to know. But yeah, he puts himself in a tough position and off he goes.
It'd be really interesting to see how many wounds Arnott's going to take in this turn as well. Obviously, it did level down last turn.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point. We just find out from our table boss now. We can actually listen in. Okay. Okay. So this is what we're hearing. What we're hearing is that he's been a little bit cagey. So there was a unit of acolytes at the top here. He did charge in and kill that unit, and then this piece of terrain does block line of sight. It's obscuring, so it's the whole base. So then he's not going to be able to shoot here. So then in the next turn, move around, do some charging in again. But he's going to be in the same position when he gets charged, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you're going to be in the same position either way, right? You're just delaying it a turn and actually doing less damage to the pinks.
And being less of a threat. And also it allows him to just put all of his threat into the Incarnate and level it down.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't know.
I'm not sure I like this play. I'll be honest. But
yeah, if you're going to play an aggro like assault list like this, I'm not sure 100% what I'll call it because it's not an alpha strike, but it's like a drop strike list, right? Ooh, I don't know. There's got to be a name for it.
A drop shipping arm.
Yeah, drop shipping is very different. Yeah, it's what crypto bros do to like buy Bugattis.
Oh, you're getting into soon.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we have 2 items on our store, and Adam thinks I'm a multinational corporation now.
That's how it works.
How many people are playing at the event? We've got 16 players. 16 players playing at our event. Super lucky to have loads of people here. We do have events you can find on our Eventbrite, or if you go on thehonorstwargamer.com and click events, we have loads of events coming up in the future. Age Sigmar events are all on there. We are going to start running 40k events as soon as 10th edition comes out as well. Ooh. If anyone's interested in that. And then we're going to start putting on Star Wars events later in the year and some old world events.
Breaking every market here.
Well, we're going to try. We're going to try. Drop and pop. That's what we're going to do. Drop and pop. Painting seminars coming from me soon. Slapchop seminars. You interested? Why? This is the best question you could ask. Why? Also, why? Thirdly, how?
For those 50,000 subscribers?
For me, yeah. Hey, listen, Slapchop's a phenomenon, and if you don't like it, don't be here. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it.
Yeah, people love it. I love it. It's so easy to paint armies, yeah.
I don't need multiple videos on it.
I need an 8-second video, and I worked it out. Grey, white, colours. All right, I've got it. Thanks, boss. Off I go.
TikTok.
I can put it on
I learned
TikTok.
how to paint an entire power sword in 30 seconds. I did a 10-minute video on.
Slapping chops. Right, so let's see how Nathan's doing in this game here. As you can see, he has put his Rock Guts Fell Waters into this line of horrors. These screamers still doing literally nothing here. We've got these 15 spiders. They're fighting it out as well.
I love how aggro Nathan just always is. He's like, here you
go. Here's my whole army. Yeah.
And then there's just Greg Rock just sat back here like, yes.
Oh, we're going into table 2. Can you remind everyone there's only 50 minutes on the round, please, Mark? That'd be great. 5-0.
Really remind Nathan.
Yeah. I mean, really remind Nathan. But also, can people play the same player twice? We see it's in participants. No, Barbonica, because obviously you just would rotate them down, or they would do what we call pair down. As of not next month, but the month after, we do get 4 more tables in the venue, so we will go up to 24 players in the event.
Ooh.
So you will be able to, so it'll even less likely. I mean, you'll never play the same person twice, but
no, but it means you won't have to pair down necessarily.
It also hopefully means if you come with a couple of friends, you won't ever play them either, and then you can make 5 new friends. Which,
ugh.
Okay, we're being told all the players are going as fast as possible, which is positive, and you love to hear it. Love to hear it. Okay, Matt's doing pretty good here. I'll be honest with you.
Is Matt doing good, or the pink car is just standing?
I'm pretty triggered by watching Tzeentch nowadays, if I'm honest, Adam.
Yeah.
I've played it so much, specific, not with the cockatrices, but pretty much this. It's just heartbreaking to just watch. You saw Matt be quite deflated yesterday, actually, and he normally is like pretty posy. He was definitely very deflated by this list.
Who's Matt?
Derek Erickson.
Thank you.
He was
is dead to me.
Me too. He was very deflated by this game or this army, specifically because he just doesn't do enough.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I can make them fight me where I want to fight me, but that's a tragic game for 5 turns. And he definitely feels like he is a player who likes to play a very risky damage dealing, like a very fragile damage dealing like play style.
Yeah.
Is definitely what we've seen from Sylvaneth, right? Although arguments about how fragile it really is, but it definitely requires knowing where stuff can be and threat ranges and stuff, which is, I think, very valuable. Lumineth, not quite the same. Although no, Lumineth is fragile. That's why you see Matt G on table 1 being so fragile with 10 Skeleton Warriors, because those were his 10 Wardens in his head, and they are life.
He's like, oh my god.
Yeah, they are life in the Sentinel build. If those 10 guys, yeah,
what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
But then he's like, wow, these are more survivable than Wardens.
Yeah, they are survivable, yeah. We do have Chestcocks on each table, Ziggy, which is great. Is Derek a new up-and-coming player? He's trying hard.
Yeah, he's trying his best, but ever since he got married, he's honestly not as good.
Okay, yeah. Are there any KO? There is a KO player. We have 2 players down from Aberdeen. They stayed with us last night for movie night. So in the evening at the TSN Arena now, we're going to do movie night, which is pretty fun. So
which film specifically?
We watched RRR last night, and you'll be amazed what the R stand for. Story is one of the R's. Story. Yeah, so we watched RRR for movie night last night. Everyone had a nice time. We had some food. And now we've got 2 more rounds of Warhammer today with the coolest army to be voted on. Some awards at the end. There was a bottle of rum for the best sports, bottle of rum for best general, and bottle of rum for coolest army, which I think is quite nice. So movie night's pretty good. I'm not sure what
Movie night was great.
Movie night was great. We should do more movie nights. I quite like that. That was a nice little feature. We did quiz nights before, but I think movie night really was good.
The movie night was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a great film.
It's
got to be the greatest film. I think we just only ever watch RRR.
Every time.
What are watching tonight? RRR. We watched that last time. Yes. You are correct.
All right, that's good. All right, so just to jump back to the tables, because I do hate when commentators just go off the rails and start talking about their lives. Oh, they've tidied up.
Unless it's all died and only Nagash is left.
So they've tidied up. We can stop the recording. That is it. Thank you so much. So it is all over. Let's just take a look at the scorecard. Right there, you can see Matt 27-7 against Josh. A big win. He did get his The chess icon, by the way, on the side is if they've achieved their grand strat, which they have indeed done.
Huh.
So that's what that stands for, just if you have a look at the scorecard. So yeah, top left-hand side, so he's achieved his grand strat, so 27 points for Josh. For Matt. That does put Matt on a 4-0. So no one else at the event is a 4-0, but in the final round, someone could potentially beat him and put him on a 4-1, meaning that one of the other players who's currently on a 3-1 could be on a 4-1 as well, and then it will come down to differential. So it's not necessarily Matt's tournament yet, but he's in a lead position.
He is.
And looking at the people he's got to play, he's played Derek Erickson and beaten him, played Kieran and beaten him, so that's on table 2. On table 3, looks like he might be playing against Rob Connor with his Stormcast Eternals. A real tall order for Rob to try and beat Matt G.
Yikes.
With those Stormcasts, but we'll see how it works out for him. He could at least kill Neffy, then die. And then on table 4, Nathan is going to be playing for the next 9 hours against Kieran, so it'll be fun. We can wrap this round up. Because we know what the results are. So I hope you guys.
I love how every time you talk about Rob, it's just a short joke.
I made the short joke for Valent Paints. I've never met Valent Paints. This is our first interaction.
Honestly,
yeah,
he's fantastic.
He's just like, my mate is short, and I'm going to make that joke 900 times.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, every time. Right, so what these games are going to continue now, just so you all know. But we're gonna take an opportunity to have a break. This is our event at the end of the day. I hope you guys have enjoyed a bit of fun. Yeah. Hope you guys have enjoyed the content and had a nice time. Next round will be at 2 p.m. But just a little side note, we might not do a stream. We're going to record the games, but we might not record a stream just because we've seen most of the players play. But I'll let you know, and I will tweet if we will. But all of those games will be recorded, and if you are a Patreon on Wargamer or T Sports, any of those, then those games will go up on them this week. That's a promise to go, so you can all check that out. Thanks to Adam. Thanks to Table Boss Mark. You're great. Fist bump.
To you.
We got 45 minutes left on the round. So yeah, really, really fun. Great little time. I hope everyone had a nice time. I hope you enjoyed it. Age of Sigmar is in a wild place right now. Really exciting, in my personal opinion. Adam's a little bit like, wow, there's lots happening.
My brain's slightly melting.
I'm having a lovely time.
Not sure how I feel about it.
There's just so much happening. Like, there's going to be some super fun interactions, especially like not the gotcha moments, but like the working it out elements are going to be real wild.
Well, I've gotten to the point where next weekend at the Welsh Open, I'm playing KO.
Okay, yes, that's a good place. It's a good place to be. Yeah, Welsh Open also, I don't know if there are any tickets left.
There are.
Okay, so if anyone next week is in England or is watching this back or any of those things, and would like to go to the Welsh Open, which is at Firestorm Games in Cardiff.
It is.
There are still a couple of tickets
by the
left.
Beautiful Owen Jackson
and Dan.
Yeah. And there's going to be loads. If you're worried about going as well, there's loads of, like the Team Lit people going.
Okay, good.
We're lovely. We'll hang out with you.
That's true. So yeah, yes. So if you do get the opportunity to go, then we have an event on the weekend after the 5th and 6th of March here in.
That's also going to be a good one. I'm probably coming to that one as well.
I don't think it's sold out yet, so like there's some tickets there if you want to come.
There's a gig on the Friday night here.
Oh yeah, who's playing?
So it's a band called Existentialist, lovely deathcore band.
Nice.
So if you want to come moshing and go for a tournament, do that as well.
And don't forget there will be movie night on Saturday night.
Yeah, so gig, Warhammer,
movie
night,
friends,
more Warhammies.
Right? Literally perfect. You're all perfect. Thanks for hanging out. Have a wonderful day. See you guys soon, and good.